The Undercountry Music News is an excerpt of the weekly internet broadcast Undercountry Music, which features music from great country artists you won't hear on mainstream radio, as well as a roundup of the most interesting country music news of the week without all the fluff. To listen and subscribe to the full weekly episode, please visit undercountrymusic.com or simply subscribe to the Undercountry Music Podcast on iTunes. Let's get into it.
Right.
Well, wonderful.
Yeah.
And I do have one more thing to say about, time.
Well, that was Tucker the Cockapoo just saying hello.
Tucker the Cockapooch. Messing up my time segue that I was ready to release the Kraken. And he comes and steps on my segue. But you can't be mad at a dog.
No, you really can't be.
Because it's time for the Undercountry Music News! Didn't see that one coming, did you?
I didn't, but I'm really enjoying it.
They never do. They never do. And they always regret it on the end. All right. The Undercountry...
Amazing effect.
Yeah, I know. It's almost this echo effect sounds like I just said it 5 times in a row instead. It's the greatest effect you've ever... Yeah, you should get... that pedal costs a lot, though.
I'm sure it does.
Hey. The Undercountry Music News. Each and every week, I go on to Google, and I ask her one simple question. Actually, I just type in the 3 little words every search engine lady loves to hear, and that is country music news. And then Google, she goes out into the world, into cyberspace, and she finds me all the top websites for country music news and brings them back to me so that I may explore. Yeah.
She makes you a better person.
She does. She completes me. So each and every week I go on to all the top search results, the websites for country music news, and I look at their news rolls. Now, here I've been doing this about a year and a half, 2 years now, and what I have discovered is that when I go on to these places looking for country music news, what I instead find is that they're really just filled with press releases more than anything else. People trying to keep their face in the news, so they they talk about their new line of country flavored cummerbunds for the hillbilly tuxedo wedding, or Kelly Pickler's line of aluminum wallets, or some crap like that, or what Darius Rucker really thinks about rainbows. I mean, just
wow.
You think I'm joking, but it's really fodder junk like that. I don't know how much time have you spent looking for country music news?
I've spent absolutely no time looking for that.
Well, then we're in for a treat here. So my challenge,
I can't wait.
My challenge here is because the country music news the real country music news is so hard to find, and I go onto all these websites and I dig for the 1 or 2 actual country music news stories, and I compile them from all these different websites, and I put them together, and I bring them to the listeners of Undercountry Music, both of them.
Oh, great.
And if I go on a website that's supposed to have country music news, and they don't have any country music news, are you aware of what we do here?
I'm not, but I'm afraid to ask.
Well, this is...
You make it up?
No, this is where something you may have been warned about before coming on the show comes into play. We award those who do not report any country music news on their country music news page. We award them with the Undercountry Music News Wet Belch of the Week.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's got to be wet.
Well, I'm drinking decaffeinated peppermint tea, so it's probably going to be wet. I haven't eaten anything yet today. You know what? I tried doing that once after eating a big meal.
Yeah. Not good.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
All right. Shall we?
I mean, So you need me to belch as well?
Well, if you're so moved. But what
I am. I can be.
okay. Well, what I more want, I want you to feel free to pipe in here with your thoughts and feelings on the day's country music news.
Okay, great.
Okay, here we go. Over at CMT, Country Music Television, the Country Music Hall of Fame has inducted Mac Wiseman, the late Hank Cochran, and Ronnie Milsap.
Wow.
So Ronnie Milsap finally got inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame.
Good.
Yeah,
That's good.
Yeah. Now all three inductees have a unique bond in that they all endured some really severe hardships as children. Wiseman was crippled by polio. Cochran came from an orphanage, and Ronnie Milsap, and I never knew this about him, he was shipped off at the age of 6. I would imagine because he was blind, but it doesn't really say where he got shipped off to. I guess if I dug into his biography or something, I could figure that out. But, there you go.
So that's the news?
No, that's us over at CMT. We got lots more to go into.
Oh, good.
And that's your country music news for the day.
Well, that's nice to hear about it. Ronnie Milsap.
Yeah.
And Hank Cochran, all of them. I'm happy for all of them.
Yes, good to see them inducted. And I have the privilege of having the Country Music Hall of Fame driving distance from where I live, which is really nice. I actually went and paid a visit there a little while back, and it was pretty cool to stand in the rotunda.
I have a little bit of country music news myself for you, if I'm allowed to interject.
Yes.
Yesterday, around 10 p.m., I saw in my Twitter newsfeed that the Crystal Gale, verified, is following me on Twitter. That's country music news.
Wow.
Yeah.
Don't that make your brown eye burn?
It does. It makes me one Twitter degree away from Loretta Lynn.
Whoa.
That's heavy, right?
But now you got to grow your hair down to your ankles.
I know. Do you think her hair's still that long?
I have no idea. I can't imagine that after all this time she would have kept it that long. I mean, that's maintenance.
That is maintenance. I wonder. I mean, I can't imagine she would change her hair. It's such a major part of her image.
I know she's like the living Rapunzel.
She is. She literally is. She's like a Disney character. I think that her hair is still long, if you Google her. Or whatever you call it.
Well, she has an exhibit at the Country Music Hall of Fame as well.
Wow, she should.
At least she did recently. But anyway, moving along, but that's way cool. I don't think I have any celebrities following me at all. But I don't Twitter. I never me and Twitter never connected.
Oh, you need to work that out, Neil. It's a major place for a guy like you with a show like this.
I have tried to work it out many times, and it's just never, I just never made that connection. I don't know what it is, but for some reason, I just don't feel the Twitter.
I hear you. I understand.
I'm all up on Facebook, but for some reason that it's been like oil and water.
Wow. Yeah, I understand. Well, you're a man of many words, and Twitter does not allow for that.
Well, there you go. Anyway, moving along to Taste of Country. Johnny Cash's son, John Carter Cash, has been arrested in a Canadian airport. Have you ever been arrested in a Canadian airport?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Okay. Not to your knowledge.
Sometimes I'm not conscious.
I had a decade like that.
Yeah, can get like that sometimes. But no, I've never been arrested anywhere yet.
Really?
Which makes me, not yet.
Cool. Well, apparently, I'm going to say allegedly so that this can't come back and haunt me. Allegedly, he was blasted on something and stripped down to his underwear right there in the middle of the airport and got arrested.
Wow.
The apple don't fall far from the tree, does it?
It doesn't. Not at all. Yeah, you should definitely say allegedly, because Roseanne Cash follows me on Twitter as well.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to tweet this out, this show. She may listen.
Oh, good. Well, she'll find last week's episode where I disagreed with her a lot, and I think it was a civil disagreement, but I disagree with a lot of her stance on downloading and things like that. But
yeah,
I mean,
it's complicated.
It is. But my disagreement was she claims she has this team of lawyers to go after people, downloading and things. And it's one thing about the licensing. I get the licensing because artists get jack on downloads and licensing. I totally get that. My thing is she seems to really not enjoy the end consumer downloading, but her demographic it tends to run older and with a little more money, though. So, I mean, when she goes out to perform, I'm imagining tickets can be upwards of $100 at a place with nice cocktails and dinners. And these are the kind of people who really aren't the demographic that does a lot of downloading. So they're the kind of people who are going to go visit the merchandise stand and come away with a nice Roseanne Cash shirt or, actually buy a physical CD. I mean, she's like in the sweetest demographic of that for all. So my point was I didn't get what she was complaining about.
Right, I hear you.
But
I mean, it might just be in general the state of the music industry, but I do know what you mean as far as the demographic. The demographic you want now are the people who don't know how to download.
and downloading is going away anyway.
A little older.
It's all going to streaming. It's all going to streaming anyway because streaming's much easier than downloading. So,
well, iTunes sales were down like this quarter. I read that somewhere, like in a big way. The downloads, pay downloads, right? So it's all streaming now.
Yeah, and you pay $5 or $10 and you get it all commercial free.
That's right. And what we do now is more often than not, we offer our music for free. Download it for free if you need it to be. We always quantify it, if you need it to be. And more often than not, our fans will download, say 100 download it free, the other 100 will download it for $5. So they kind of make up for it, for the people who download it for free. I just think as artists, we have to find creative ways to survive in this industry.
Well, that's exactly it. And, I think maybe the downloading might be a lot of her father's catalog that she inherited. Now that I can see is getting downloaded.
Right.
And so probably a lot of her protections, and I didn't think about that when I was making the commentary last week, is probably her protections are more about, that than anything else about things she owns rather than things she releases. Because, I mean, quite honestly, the 20-somethings ain't out there, bootlegging the 7-year itch.
No, they are not.
And speaking of bootlegging, let's move along.
It's 7-year ache, though, Joanna. I want to just clarify that.
Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, okay, well, there you go. Okay. Moving along to the boot.com shows you how much I know.
Well, just in case someone actually wants to go download it, they would be looking in the wrong place if they looked for 7-year itch.
Well, I haven't heard that song in probably 10 years, so I got the title of it wrong. So
that's okay.
Yeah. Anyway, over at theboot.com, Kenny Chesney and Jason Aldean will combine their tours, and both of them are stadium acts now. They're going to combine their tours next year for 10 combined stadium shows.
Interesting. Why do you suppose they're combining?
I don't know. Maybe they're combining in the areas where they don't sell as many tickets. Maybe it's in the areas where perhaps are more challenging for them to fill the stadiums, and together they can fill the stadium.
Yeah, makes sense.
But I don't know. I don't know if that would be the case, and I was trying to figure out who, if they would be alternating, who would go last. Because everybody always wants to be the last act. That's because that's the headliner, or if there was just one act that would be the headline, and it doesn't really say. Who do you think would be the closing act?
It's interesting. And maybe they would go on a market-by-market basis, similar to what you said, where whoever's bigger in that particular market goes on. But I would think Kenny Chesney would be second.
I would think that too. And although the story doesn't say it, and I was trying to figure out, there was one point in the story where Jason Aldean says that he's going to make it extremely hard for Chesney to follow him every night.
Yeah, so there you have it.
So
that's always fun to do.
Yeah, I had to read in his words there.
Yeah.
Oh, and over at Country Weekly, got a little sad news. It's not that, it's more of a challenge than truly sad. And that is that Troy Gentry's wife of Montgomery Gentry has been diagnosed with breast cancer and is currently undergoing chemo, but her prognosis is supposedly very, very good, though.
Oh, good.
So it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, isn't it?
It still is. A couple more days.
Well, good. Have you been
Go good.
As a female act, have you been pulled on to a lot of pink shows, like for the breast cancer awareness and things like that?
They did a cast of my boobs, actually.
And we can purchase these where?
You actually can. A lot of artists and celebrities were doing it, and they were being sold. And I'm forgetting where you could go to do that. But anyway, there was a point in time where I did do that for breast cancer awareness.
Cool. You know what? As a guy, as a middle-aged man myself, I don't get called to perform at many prostate exam awareness events. It just hasn't been happening, you know. What color would you use for that?
It's literally like a cast. It's just like the plaster of Paris, you know what I mean? They made a cast of my... Yeah. So, and then artists color it in, and I autograph it, and it's the whole thing. So you have to wait for it to dry. I mean, it's like you're literally being casted.
Yeah.
And then they crack you out of it.
That's got to be a freaky feeling. They have to oil you first, though, so that the plaster doesn't stick to you when it comes off of you.
Are you taking liberties there? I can't actually remember what they did, but...
Well, I mean, you don't want the plaster to stick with you when it comes on. So, I mean, you take like Vaseline. I mean, I've been there when they cast. A friend of mine got his face cast to make a molded mask one time, and that's what they did. Yeah. They took Vaseline and they rubbed it all over his face so that when they took the plaster off of his face. Yeah, you're probably right. So I wasn't just having like little creepy fantasies here. There was an actual, and now I'm not above, going down the creepy road every once in a while, but that just wasn't one of those times. Raising my hand here. No creepiness.
Okay.
Good. All right. Well, we're gonna creep on over to GAC, Great American Country, and they have absolutely no news this week, but they do escape the wet belch for one reason and one reason only.
Why?
Because they have One Pan Nan Kelly's recipe for creamy pumpkin dip in the news roll.
Wow, that's their news?
That's their news.
Wow.
That was the only thing that wasn't a press release.
Okay. Well, we'll take that. I found the organization that I did it for. It's called Keep Abreast, the Keep Abreast Foundation, keepabreast.org. You can Google that.
So like, is this like in their offices or something? Do you go and see like the wall of breastises somewhere?
Breastises. I think they actually. I can't say for sure. I know that they tour a lot. They go to festivals, music festivals, and they actually bring the casts with them. They casted me at a. Is that the right word? We say casted, I think so, or cast me at a show.
I think casted
backstage. Yeah, casted it.
Yes.
It's a great organization. They're raising awareness and money. Have you gotten your mammo this month, Neil?
No, but I certainly should probably have my moobs examined at some point.
Yes.
Okay. Moving right along to the 615, and the 615 is the area code for Nashville. And the 615 is actually a subsection of Billboard.com, so you have to look for it online because you can't go to 615.com and find it. But it comes up when I search for country music news. Anyway, the Ryman Auditorium, the original home of the Grand Ole Opry, has kicked off its new $14 million renovation. which is going to include an expanded lobby and retail areas, a cafe space in the outdoor plaza, and an interactive multimedia tour. But the actual auditorium itself, which is a National Historic Landmark, will remain virtually untouched. You ever been to the Ryman?
A lot of money.
Yeah.
I have been. It's awesome.
I have not. I've been to the Grand Ole Opry many times, but never any shows at the Ryman. They do shows there all the time.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to the Opry?
I haven't been to the Opry, no.
The Opry's fun. Every act that comes out, a lot of celebrities and stuff, and they just come out and play like just a couple of songs, and it's real quick, and the show just moves and moves, and it's neat. I've been to it a couple of times. Yeah,
I would love to go. I would love to play there. Anyway, just putting it out there. If anyone influential is listening.
The Grand Ole Opry, if you're listening, as I know the entire Grand Ole Opry decision-making board does listen to this show. Of course they do. Of
course they do.
Of course they do. Antigone Rising, they're ready for you.
We're available.
They're ready. And the question is, are you?
That is the question.
All right, we've got one more place to check in with here for our country music news. It's Rolling Stone Country. Rolling Stone has just launched its country side a few months back. And this week they have a story that Florida Georgia Line has just landed its very first #1 album with Anything Goes, selling a whopping 197,000 copies in its first week.
Wow.
It used to be selling 1 million copies in the first week, didn't it?
That's what my wow was in regard to.
Yes.
That's amazing how... Do you know, last year not a single album went platinum?
I know. I read that story, and
yeah, that's mind-boggling.
If you were to count the soundtrack to Frozen, though, which doesn't get counted for some reason, soundtracks don't get counted, but that one did sell 3 million. So that one, if it would have been counted, would have been the only platinum.
Wow. Okay, so there's hope. Why would they not count that? Why does that not count, a soundtrack?
I'm not sure. I guess it's because it's a variety of artists, and it's not one artist going platinum. Yeah. I think. Right. But anyway, nobody gets the wet belch this week.
Oh.
Did you want to belch anyway?
Well, I could try, but I mean, no one earned it. I don't have to wet belch. It has to be earned.
No, but our listeners and probably your fans would be really disappointed to be listening belch for that belch and then not get it. So maybe we could both belch together on the count of 3.
Let me see what I can conjure up. Yes, okay. I'm with you. Let's do it.
1, 2, 3. Nicely done.
There you go.
All right. And this has been your News. All right, that's all our housekeeping. Kristen, tell us about what's coming up with Antigone Rising. How do people find you and get immersed?
Well, Antigone Rising, we have a brand new EP coming out in the next few weeks called Whiskey and Wine Volume 2. Volume 1 came out earlier this year in March. And if you want to find us online, you can go to our website, AntigoneRising.com. That's ANTIGONERISING.com. And you can find us all over social media. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We're everywhere. So you can just find us, reach out, connect. We are definitely a very social media friendly band. We love hearing from people, and we always, get back. So,
and just to clarify, don't get them confused with the Antigone Rising polka band that's running right around there. And I think there's a little legal action going back and forth about that at the moment, if I'm not mistaken.
We're not able to talk about that right now. Sorry, Neil. Anyway, we have a new EP coming out, and one of the first singles off of it is a song that we co-wrote with Kristen Hall, who is formerly of Sugarland. And the song is called I See You. And it teeters on a love song, but there's great harmonies and some other cool things to it. So hopefully, Neil, you will forgive us for that.
For the last song of the show, I throw caution to the wind.
I appreciate you stepping out of your comfort zone for us.
That's okay. Well, I mean, the last song of the show, if
we've come this far.
Yeah, I mean, and if you don't dig it, you can always just turn the show off at that point, because it's the end of the show. It's like, the rolling of the credits. Except I encourage you to stick around for this, because I have actually heard this song, and it's darn purty.
Oh, good. Thank you so much.
Anything else you'd like to impart before we do our little closing tagline here?
I don't think so. I just want to thank you for having me on. I had a blast with you today.
Well, thank you. Thanks for coming and hanging out with me. And I had a great time. I look forward to hopefully some people that listen to this show, over listening to Antigone Rising and following you, and maybe perhaps some of your fans will come and get offended by my show.
I can almost guarantee you that they will.
All right. Well, we're out of here. We're going to close with Antigone Rising's song, I See You. And you know how we close out this show?
By belching?
No. We say, stay under, stay country. Thank you for listening to the Undercountry Music News. The Undercountry Music News is just a small excerpt of the weekly hour-long internet broadcast Undercountry Music, where I play music and have great interviews by lesser-known original country acts. Get on over to undercountrymusic.com, where you can listen and subscribe. Stay under, stay country.